Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. My name is Fiza.
Hi, Fiza. I'm Barbie. So welcome to the Speaking Studio consultation. How can I help you today?
Thank you. Actually, I needed some advice for recorded group presentations.
Okay. Do you have any specific questions or areas that you want to ask about?
The thing is that I'm not very familiar with recorded group presentations. I'm quite comfortable with presenting by myself, so any advice on group ones would be really helpful.
Okay, no problem. So there are usually a few aspects to consider whenever we do recorded group presentations. So I was thinking maybe we could focus on five of the main points in our session today. So the first one I would say is, which is one of the most important ones, would be coming up with a general script and assigning specific roles for each of your group mates before a presentation. And here would be a demonstration of what I'm talking about.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Okay, so since our presentation is next week, I think we should start planning. Okay, so
sure.
first I think we should assign roles. And we have like three main things to talk about. So one person can be responsible for introducing Sigmund Freud's theories. Another person can analyze his theories and then talk about how we're using that to understand the novel in class. And then the last person can be responsible for opposing theories. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Great. So I can actually do the part on introducing his theory because
Okay.
I am studying psychology.
I guess I'll do the novel analysis because I'm more familiar with English literature.
Okay, and I'll do the opposing theories. I think that should be good then, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We can each do 5 slides, so then like it's equal between like all of us. Are you guys good with that too?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Okay. Okay, then let's start working on the group script.
Yeah.
Great.
What are some of the main points that you've noticed in the demonstration just now?
There seemed to be some kind of work division going on.
Yes, so what we just saw is actually a good example of group project planning and communication between the group mates. It is important to assign specific roles for each of the group mates to ensure that all aspects that you want to present is the presentation to convey is included and that they will not be repeated by multiple presenters. And if possible, selecting areas that you want to work on based on your skill set or your interest, just like in a demonstration, is also a great idea for a potentially more in-depth presentation. It would also be ideal if everyone's workload is evenly distributed for fairness.
Great, great. Those sound like good points. I have a question though. In the end, they mentioned let's write a group script. How exactly can we go about that?
So I would recommend you using Google Drive and the shared Word documents and PowerPoint slide function. They are actually a great platform for group mates or like a team project to be able to communicate and work on one thing at the same time and give each other suggestions. So moving on to the second point of making a recorded group presentation video. Visual consistency is also a really important area of focus. And here is another demonstration of how that might be.
Okay, so I will start with the first one. Before 1997, it's mainly about the usage of language, and English was used in formal occasions. It's for higher and wider communication, whereas Cantonese was used with family and it's for communication among ethnic Chinese.
Thanks, Rachel. So let's talk about the medium of instruction. It was reported that students prefer not to attend CMI schools because I feel like it's harder for them to succeed in today's world.
So from that example, we can see that even though the speakers are presenting on the same topic, the layout and the general visual of the presentation slides of the second and the first scroll are completely different.
Yep, I agree. The first one was very colorful. It had a theme applied to it, and the second one was just plain black and white. They didn't seem to be a part of the same presentation.
Yes, so even though they know which part of the presentation they're focusing on, which is a perk in their group work, the lack of visual consistency might translate to the audience that the group is not cooperating well. It might distract people from the content that they're talking about and disrupt the general flow of the presentation. So generally, the font's layout, color scheme, and of the presentation should be quite similar to remain cohesive, if not the same.
Yep, that makes sense.
The third point that we're going to talk about today would be engagement with group mates and how that is important when you're doing a group presentation.
All right, so I just want to first start off our presentation by talking a little bit about Sigmund Freud's theory. So his theory is commonly known as psychoanalysis.
Hello? Hello?
And there is still a lot of research on this field compared to other more evidence-based treatments at the moment.
So how do you feel after you just watched that demonstration presentation?
To be honest, it was quite distracting watching the group mates not paying attention. Even though I was actually interested in the topic, I lost my interest pretty quickly when I could clearly see that even the group mates were not really interested and they weren't paying attention.
So what do you think they should do instead?
They should definitely be listening and ideally be responding with their expressions. And they should be attentive because the speaker might cue them a point at any instance and they might have to jump into the presentation.
That's very good, Fissa. I'm so glad you're catching up on how to do this. You're a natural. But one more thing I might add would be we can see that from the presentation that the mics of the people who aren't presenting are still on, and we can hear some background noises from them, especially when one of the other presenter was talking on the phone. So it is crucial for you to bear in mind that the mic should be off when it's not your presentation time.
You know what? Actually, it makes me really nervous when I think about this group presentation because regardless of all the tips that you're giving me right now, I don't know how it would actually pan out on the day when we record it.
That's actually very relevant to the point that I'm about to bring out, which is rehearsals. It is always important to make time to do at least one run-through with all the group mates present before your presentation. It will allow you to be more familiar with the pacing of the script and you know when your turn is, when other people are speaking. This could also help you become less nervous and provide a chance to monitor one another and edit the script as a team to produce a better final presentation.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I need to speak to my group mates about scheduling a rehearsal. Thank you.
We're now on to the fifth and final point that we should bear in mind when we're doing a recorded group presentation video, and it is all about technicality. Chris, if you may.
Sure. So if you guys choose to do your recorded group presentation on Zoom, so there are two major things that you have to consider. First thing concerns how you're going to show your faces. So there are a couple modes that are going to allow you to show your faces during a presentation in Zoom, which is like the side-by-side mode, which allows you to show all the faces during a presentation. And also there's a speaker view mode, which only shows whoever is speaking during a presentation. So that's the first point. Second point concerns how you're going to save your recorded video. So we would recommend that you are going to save the video on your desktop and set up the drive because sometimes it might be a little bit difficult for you to locate where the video is. Rachel, here's your turn.
And remember to prepare your screen share PowerPoint on your desktop in advance and be very familiar with the share screen function. Maria, what do you think?
Yeah, you should also make sure that everyone in your group has similar volume levels. For example, you can do this by making sure your mic is close enough to your mouth.
So that concludes the 5 tips that we have for doing a recorded group presentation. I hope it helps.
Wow, it was actually really helpful. I'm glad I signed up for this consultation. I just wish I had signed up along with my group members, but I just can't wait to share the information with them. Thank you, guys.
No problem. Good luck for your group presentation. I hope it goes well.
Thank you. I'm sure it will.
Okay, bye.